Jim's going to be extra late today. So there was a council of Dougs that met about 30 minutes ago to decide, do we start the show at the regular time or not? And I got outvoted. So we're starting at this regular time. Jim, let me know with an exclamation mark C when you start DVR
DougBot
mode.
said I'm working here.
There's SpeakerBot confirmation. And I hear that both through my earpiece and through the YouTube video. I have two communications from viewers today for topics. Greg M., I've seen your update in chat, so we might not be dealing with his issue unless he gives us another update, or if we finish other topics enough to just bring you up to speed to what he's wrestling with. But I suspect because of the communication that he got from the developer of the app that's on his phone that we're probably not going to be able to solve that issue. Let's see. Brian says, both Doug and I are full of hot air that we can blow your way. I think that might be in response to somebody else's comment. I don't know. Marsman brought up a topic last week and he sent me an email. And he gave me permission to show the email. His name is Rodney, if you're not aware. And let's go dive into that. Or I don't think there's anything else in chat for me to get to. I think I'm kind of sort of up to date with chat as far as having looked at it. So I'm going to go take a quick look. Let's see. There's no oranges. Oh, wow. Just before showtime, Ken Stout's comment from last night was still visible. Now it's not. That was just before showtime. It was still there. Let's see if if I restore chat to the normal view, it is still there. 3:13 p.m. my time yesterday. So Ken Stout, Arnold, Brian, Darren Gilholm is Mr. Book. Isaiah. Oh, I see. I actually remembered your name, Isaiah, before reading it there. Trying to get that one nailed down. Yeah, here's Jim saying he'll be horribly late. Still haven't got out the door for lunch. Women. What can you do? And here's Greg's update. An update to my email issue. Now, he sent me an email about the issue, but his issue is about email on his phone. Although I think it was also an app on his, or the same app on the computer, I think. But anyway, let's get past that. Skimming. Oh yeah, we got in Fresno, we get 3 days of over 90 degrees. I think 92 degrees. I'm forecast for 3 days next week. I know I'm not doing justice by scrolling through that. Okay, so hello to everybody, and let's go get into our first topic for Rodney. Now I'm going to start by looking down here where he gives me permission to be sure I get this correct. All is well with me whether you share this or do not. And I'm presuming by sharing this, he's referring to the email because it gives more description. Last week, he asked us in chat about how to get a hotkey configured to display and hide the taskbar. And after we struggled with that a little while, I asked him, well, why do you want to do that? What's the objective? And he said he'd have to send me an email, that he would send me an email. is it really that hard to, well, yeah, it is worth an email. So here I'm going to give you the benefit of that. And one thing I really like about this is it helps us understand a little bit more about who Marsman is, Rodney, aka Rodney. And I very much enjoy getting to know more about each of you. So anytime you have the opportunity to do that, please do so. I'm going to take that back off and reconsider the zoom level and hiding that navigation panel. And I am concealing his last name because I'm not certain how he feels about that. So here's his message. I do know the steps in show or hide the taskbar by right-click on taskbar, select taskbar settings, and then taskbar behaviors and the auto hide taskbar checkbox. So he knows how to do that bit. Due to my very limited visual field of view, I prefer not to have the taskbar to be hidden. Prefer not to have the taskbar to be hidden. So he prefers to have it displayed all the time. What I have is, in the case of a couple of apps that I have open, there are some buttons or sometimes a text box that remain hidden below the taskbar and no way to scroll down to see those items. I have seen this effect, and it happens when you have the screen resolution zoomed in, or you have large icons or various settings so that you can see better on screen. This is especially true when using QuickBooks. Yes, I have seen that. Where in creating or viewing an invoice, so this gives us a clue, he does invoices. So he's self-employed or invoices for company he works for. Wow, my throat's going. Hang on. Hang on just means wait. You don't need to grip your desk and actually hold on. I'm not going to shake anything through the video. Viewing an invoice, the buttons to save, save anew, and the memo text box cannot be seen. The same is true for the sales receipt. I have seen exactly this on clients' computers who have, enlarged icons or different resolution that makes it easier to view. I'm using a Samsung 32-inch TV HDMI 1 as my monitor. I have tried every combination of resolution choices to no available solution. I really prefer no third-party software to do this. I think we're going to be able to fix this for you. Give you the hotkey that you're asking for. Google did tell me a script created using PowerShell, and that's what we'll be doing, would be a way to accomplish this. My thought was to have a script where the Windows key with T to do the job, toggling the taskbar to show or hide as needed instead of going through all the steps to get the settings for auto hide taskbar checkbox. We're going to be doing a thing that'll be close to that. It's not going to be Windows key T because that is reserved for a different purpose, but we'll be close to that. I hope this helped, if it works. I haven't actually tried it yet. I hope this helps explain my question that day, which was last Saturday. Yes, it does. Beautifully. Thank you. As to having a hotkey shortcut like I use Windows key plus to turn magnifier on, and Windows key escape to turn magnifier off. Let's scroll down here a bit. Would have got to you sooner, but had no internet for a few days. Had a bad modem. I thought turned out the IP provider changed some protocols that did not work with their older modem. So it wasn't actually a bad modem, just obsolete. Their technician came out, just gave me a newer modem router, no charge. So now I have Wi-Fi 6 as well. Hope I will still have internet on Saturday, even though a big snowstorm is supposed to hit us. I don't know that I've spotted Marsman in chat yet. Thank you, Doug, for your patience with me. Of course, you're welcome. I have very little.
Chat, please.
Yes, there he is. Thank you, Rodney. I have very little knowledge in writing scripts with PowerShell or Terminal, whatever they call it nowadays. That is totally irrelevant. With the advent of AI, you do not need to understand anything about how to do scripts with PowerShell. All is well with me whether you share this or do not. And that comment about not needing to, you don't need to know programming, you don't need to know scripting, because AI is, I was going to say so capable, but maybe I should say sufficiently capable to do the job for you and help you through it without you having those skills. But there are some skills to using AI. And that's what I like to be, circling back around to now and then, to show and encourage people to experiment more with using AI for doing tasks that you didn't ever think you would be doing. So I already had pasted Rodney's question in chat from last week and his email into Gemini. So you've seen me copy and paste before. So I'm just going to go straight to that. Here it is, to that topic. And over here, you see that the AI named it Taskbar toggle script for access. I can rename that if I want to, if I need something easier to remember, or I can also pin it if I want it to always stay available towards the top of my list of topics in Gemini. Gemini is a Google product. I have a paid Google Workspace account, which means down at the bottom here, it has this message, your DougBetts chats. You know what I can do is Alt-1. I realized after the show last week, I could have done this when I was trying to get you to see the hyperlink in the bottom left corner. But now you can see that you're at the bottom, your DougBetts chats aren't used to improve our models. Gemini is AI and can make mistakes. That is not necessarily true when you use Gemini, because my chats are not used to improve their models, meaning they don't use what I have chatted about to train their models, which is a privacy benefit. I don't think you have that on the free versions. Now, escape will go back to a normal level. I can use Control Plus to zoom in to the web page. Let's close this panel. So here I gave Gemini a link to the point in the video where the chat question was presented. And in here I give Rodney's first question, is there a way to toggle the taskbar with a hotkey? And then I have his actual email that we just read through. And then here's the response. Very commonly did because Windows 11 does not have a built-in keyboard shortcut to toggle the taskbar auto hide using a PowerShell script triggered by a custom shortcut is exactly the right path to take since he wants to avoid third-party software. So this should exactly do what he wants. He's not going to have to type any code to do this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the whole thing and demonstrate whether it works or not. I don't know that for sure. We might have some troubleshooting to do. How smooth is this going to go? I don't know. Here is a break. So this is, the unscripted live real experience of a computer technician. But I would be encouraging you, if you're thinking, oh man, I don't want to see any coding stuff. Well, hang on a second. There might be something that you want to do with your computer that a PowerShell script or something else might be the solution, and you don't have any confidence level or understanding of how to do that stuff. What I'm hoping to show here is that you don't need that. You can use AI to get through it. Might not be incredibly efficient, but it could be. It varies. Your mileage may vary, and my mileage has varied with using AI for this kind of stuff. Let's see how we do. Here's a breakdown of what you can tell Rodney. I have included copy-paste friendly section. You can email directly to him, as well as alternative solution that might fix his QuickBooks issues without needing a script at all. Now, what I intend to do is let's presume that I actually get a script that works. Does he seem confident to you? Then I'll put it into my Google Drive and put a link in the description of today's video, and Rodney can just click that to download the script and then put it onto his desktop and do the hotkey technique that I'll be demonstrating. I think I read through that paragraph. 2 things to note before sending it to Rodney: the Windows T limitation. This is why you're not going to be able to use the Windows key and the letter T. Window hard codes Windows T to cycle through icons on the taskbar. Now, I showed that last week. If I hold down the Windows key and press the letter T, you'll see some icon down here highlight. I got to escape out of my red dot to show that. So I'm doing Windows key and the letter T. See how it highlighted Copilot down at the bottom? And then if I do Windows key T again, it goes to another one and another one and another one and another one and so on. So we can't override that, apparently. It's incredibly difficult to overwrite this specific hotkey without using third-party software like AutoHotkey. So we don't want to do that. The script below uses Control-Alt-T. So instead of Windows key T, we'll be using Control-Alt-T. Now you could experiment with the availability of some other hotkeys. Maybe you could use Windows key and some other single letter if you don't want to use 2 of the booster keys. But we'll just go ahead with this for now. Instead, which works perfectly using just built-in Windows features. The why behind the cutoff buttons. Because, the cutoff buttons, meaning the buttons down at the bottom of the screen that he couldn't get to. Because Rodney is using a 32-inch TV, the reason his QuickBooks buttons are hidden is likely due to Windows display scaling, making text too large for the QuickBooks window to fit on screen. Or TV overscan, it could be the source of the trouble. The TV slightly zooming in and cropping the edges of the PC display. What you can copy, paste, and email to Rodney. Actually drafts the message for me. Hi, Rodney. Thank you for the extra context, not content. Using a TV as a monitor is great for visibility, but it can sometimes cause issues.
Chat, please.
Where the bottoms of windows, like your QuickBooks invoices, get cut off behind the taskbar. That last read chat, please. He says Control-Alt is okay. So Control-Alt-T is fine with him. Honestly, I'm not doing cocaine. I just got this tickle on my nostrils. We didn't need that information, Doug. Because you want to avoid third-party software, we can absolutely use a PowerShell script to do this. However, Windows permanently reserves WinT for another function, so we will set it. Yeah, we already know this. Here are the setup instructions to set this up safely. Looks like a lot, but you only have to do it once. So this is the script that the AI is proposing. I have not tested it yet. So we're going to follow the instructions that Gemini has actually drafted for me to send by email and see if it works. Wow, that sounds like mute for a moment. That sounds like an opportunity to practice a poll. Let's see, how quickly can I get a poll here? No, not that one. The plus sign, right? Poll. Start a poll, not Q&A. Yes. Okay. Do you think Gemini's instructions will work first try? start poll. So you can start responding to the troll, to the poll. I'm a Doug. What are you going to do? Click the Start menu. Type Notepad to open it. So Windows key, Notepad, Notepad. There it is. Enter. You know what? I should take that off screen because it automatically opens all the notes, all the things that I had in Notepad. Fix existing time slip. Let's see. Yeah, that was nothing. Let's see. Nothing private here. I don't like the change that Windows 11 did somewhere along the way to Notepad, where it keeps everything open that you've done in Notepad in the past until you actually go to close them. So I'm going to do the X on all of those to close all of them. And let's just get down to a single Notepad. There might be some place where there's an adjustment for that. All right, so here I have a new blank Notepad. Come back here. So to copy this, what we do is use this copy button up here. You don't need to drag through it and do Control-C, just this copy code right up here. And there's another little tip for working with AI. I've had times where AI gives me a set of instructions and it's not conveniently copyable. So I'll tell it, give me that set of instructions in a code block or in a code window so that whatever the stuff that it spewed out at me, it'll show up in one of these gray windows and I can just very easily do copy code and then go paste it wherever I want. Okay, so that's the code. I haven't even looked through this to see what it is trying to do. I have often just tried the code that it creates to see if it works before I try to decipher what it does. Oh man, my throat. Okay, I'm going to pop one of these Ricola lozenges. Doug, don't sing that word again. The conference of Doug's gets upset at me when I do things like that. Brian says the code line that says format C might be important. Let's see, copy and paste exactly as it shows. Then click File, Save As. On the left side, Save Windows, click on your Documents folder or Desktop. I'm going to use Desktop so you can see it. Save as type, change it from TXT to all files. In the file name box, type exactly toggle taskbar PS1. So I'm gonna, let's see, if I double click that and then shift right arrow a few times. Now Control-C to copy that, save and close Notepad. So now I'm gonna Alt-Tab to get back to Notepad, go File, Save As, and it's already defaulting to Desktop, so I'm going to do it there. And they said to change the file type from TXT to all documents. So all that's going to do is that's going to get rid of the TXT at the end. And see that it has suggested the file name utilizing the first line of that file. Well, we don't want to use that either. So I'm going to click All Files. And then I'll just highlight that, single click on that whole word, and then paste. I'll choose paste from there. So that gives me the name. So that's going to create that file name on the desktop. So what I intend to do once we have the code that works is I will put this file name, this file in my Google Docs folder that's shared to the YouTube channel, and then put a link to that in the description of this video. So Rodney or anybody can just download it from there and get the exact code, put it on your desktop or wherever, and then do the shortcut key that we'll be showing you how to do. So here we have desktop. Notice there's a lot of more files showing here. When I first came into the screen, there was only one file showing. That's because we had save as file type as star.txt. It was only showing txt files that existed on my desktop. So there's the save. So that saves it. Come back to here and look at the next step. So save and close Notepad. Okay, I'll close Notepad. If I reopen Notepad, this document's still going to be open because I haven't actually specifically closed that tab. I'm going to come back into Notepad and show you that. And I lied. I'm wrong. Why am I wrong? Why did that not work the way I was used to? Okay, I'm wrong. Give me a dunce cap. I'm surprised about that. I really expected that to show up on screen. Maybe it's because I only had one tab open, because I usually don't only have one tab open. Yeah, I don't know. Create the hotkey shortcut. Now we need to create the shortcut that runs the script when you press your keys. Go to your desktop, right-click anywhere in empty space, click New, and then click Shortcut. A box will ask, type the location of the item. Copy and paste this exact line into that box. Well, you know what? They're expecting it to be in the Documents folder. You know what? Let's do that. Let's follow the instructions exactly. Because I can see now that that's...
Read chat, please.
It's going to be better. Marsman says Notepad recent files. Oh, I know it'll be on recent files. And yeah, that's not the question. See, here I can get it from here too. I can open it from here, or I can open Notepad and I can go here, file. There's recent files here. But what I've actually seen in the past is where it automatically opens here. Now, let me try this. If I close Notepad now, if I reopen it, since that was two tabs open, is it now going to automatically reopen? No. Huh. I don't know. Did they change it? Okay, so let's go put it in the Documents folder where it's wanting. I'll do Save As in order to put it to a different location and go to Documents. My Documents folder isn't going to show up in the navigation panel because I'm using OneDrive. Is it? Downloads, Documents. Most of you are not going to have that experience. Here's Documents. All right. So, save it there. That way I can follow the instructions that they have here. Right-click anywhere in an empty space, click New, and then click Shortcut. So here's an empty space out here on the right. I'll right-click, choose New, and Shortcut. I'll move this off to the side so we can see the next instruction. A box will ask, type the location of the item, right there, that box. Copy and paste this exact line into that box. See, I need to provide this to you too. Oh, I know what I'll do is I'll just copy this in this whole email instruction as a document in my Google Drive as well. So I highlight that and press Control-C and then come into this field and Control-V paste. Oh, this is one line, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So that wasn't enough. Let's drag through. Okay, that works. You can drag through this all the way to the end of that quote symbol, then Control-C, and then paste it into this field. Next, name the shortcut whatever you want, like Taskbar toggle. We don't want the shortcut to be called PowerShell.exe because that's really misleading. So I'm going to drag across that, Control-C copy, and Control-V paste. Then click Finish. You will now see the shortcut on your desktop. Right-click that new shortcut and click Properties. That shortcut on the desktop is called Taskbar Toggle. I'm pointing that out because I want to show a little tip, a little technique, how to find an icon that's on your desktop when you have a lot of icons on your desktop, or maybe somebody else that you're working on their computer has a lot of icons on their desktop. And you're trying to find a particular one, you don't know where it is. They know right where it's at. How do you find it? So pay attention. Taskbar Toggle starts with the letter T. You will now see the shortcut on your desktop. Right-click that new shortcut and click Properties. So let's go find that. I'm going to, oh, here it is. It just showed up right over here. Taskbar Toggle. Anyway, the tick that I was going to show is if you single click on any icon on the desktop, over here on the right where I'm moving the mouse, I single clicked on one of them and then press the letter T. That'll go to the first icon on the desktop that begins with the letter T. Now it has probably found one other than that one that is elsewhere. So I'm going to keep pressing the letter T and it should eventually highlight that icon. Or not if it's going to make a liar out of me. Let's click on the desktop again. T, there it is. So if you click on any icon on the desktop and press the first letter of the icon that you're looking for, the highlighter will move around from one icon to another until you get to the one that you want. So they want us to right-click on that shortcut and choose Properties. So here it is. Look for the box that says Shortcut Key None. It's right here, Shortcut Key None. Inside that box, click inside that box and press letter T on your keyboard. It should automatically change to say Control-Alt-T. So we'll click in the shortcut field and notice right now I clicked in the shortcut field and it's just a blinking cursor at the end of the word None. They didn't tell us to backspace over the word None, right? So I'm just going to press the letter T. Boom. I did not hold down Control and Alt. Just press the letter T. And it changes from the word None to Control-Alt-T. Now, as far as changing what booster keys are used, I'm not sure that you can do that. I just press the left arrow key. I think this defaults only to whatever key you press. I'm just pressing different letters right now. It's going to be Control-Alt and that letter. So Control-Alt-T is the easy way to just accept what Windows has decided to voluntarily offer us for shortcut techniques. Control-Alt-T, we've got it. Near the bottom where it says Run, click the drop-down menu and select Minimize. Right here where it says Run, we don't want it to run in a normal window. We want it to run in a minimized window because we don't need anything to pop up on the screen. So this is just going to run like a minimized program down in your taskbar when it does its thing. Near the bottom where it says Run, Minimize, click Apply, then OK. You don't have to click Apply, then OK. Whoops, turn this off. You don't have to click the Apply button and then OK. If you click the OK button, that is the same as clicking Apply and then clicking OK. The reason why these are separate buttons is because there may be times when you want to click Apply but keep this window open. If you don't need to keep this window open, then you could just go straight to the OK button. That's completely fine. It accomplishes the same thing. So there's OK. You're done. Okay, so thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you again next week. No, we're not done. You're done. Now, whenever you are in QuickBooks and can't see the buttons, just press Control plus Alt plus T. The taskbar will slide away. We haven't tested it yet, Press Control-T again when you're done, and it will pop back up. Note it may take 1 or 2 seconds to trigger after pressing the keys. One alternative fix, if you ever want to fix the QuickBooks issue without hiding the taskbar, right-click an empty space on your desktop and click Display Settings. Look for Scale. If it is set to something like 150%, try lowering it to 125-100%. I think Marsman already knows this. This will make everything on the screen a bit smaller, but it usually fixes the issue of QuickBooks buttons being pushed off the bottom of the screen. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to test it. Control-Alt-T. Watch the taskbar at the bottom. Control-Alt-T. Does it work, or do we get some kind of an error? Boom. There's something happening. Now, remember last week when I manually tried to hide the taskbar? It did not work. So I think there's something going on with my computer. Let me try making a couple of adjustments that I'm suspicious about. Taskbar settings. And that one about showing the taskbar on all monitors. Show my taskbar on all displays. When I click that, the taskbar just disappeared from my other 2 displays. And I'm suspicious that that was causing the problem. Control-Alt-T. Okay, we saw, if you look, watch down here in this area on the taskbar where the red dot is. Watch that area when I do the Control-Alt-T. Something briefly pops up there. Control-Alt-T. That was a little PowerShell icon that popped up, and it went away. Now, which way do I want to test this? What I'm thinking is my quickest, easiest way to test this is to put that onto Baby Beast. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm going to punch up Baby Beast, and I'll just go through that same process. Which kind of reviews the whole process. Let's make this big so I can seize it. Windows Key Notepad. Now, because both of these computers are, fortunately, that was not anything private. My SID changed scripts. See, those automatically opened up. So why did those automatically open up when the other one didn't? I don't know. Because both of my computers are signed into my Microsoft account, they share the same clipboard. So I can do Windows key V. Oops, I slipped on my key presses. Windows key V, and get to that PowerShell script right here. I think it is. No, that's not it. Windows key V. Here, this is it. There's the script. Save it to Documents folder. Windows key V, and call it toggleTaskbar.ps1. Save. It already exists. Oh, because that's in my OneDrive. See, it has already...
Read chat, please.
It has already synchronized my Documents folder to Baby Beast, so I don't have to resave that. I'll go see what that read chat, please message is. My chat messages are catching up. Save the Notepad tab and close it, then it won't automatically reopen. Computers 101. But all of those scripts that you saw had been saved. before I close them. So that sounds like a good piece of instruction, but I've tried that before and it didn't solve it. Okay, so then right click on the desktop, new, shortcut, and then I can browse to the documents folder. And then, let's see, type the location of the item. This isn't going to show me. Is it going to show me? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it was with a T, right? I'm going to take that off screen because whatever other folders it might be showing might be something I don't care to show. Lots of items with a T. Toggle taskbar. There it is. So now I can bring it back. You're probably not going to see O drive, and that's because I have my OneDrive on a partition called O. So next, toggle taskbar PS1. So here it is defaulting to a shortcut name that corresponds to the file name. Oh yeah, I got this booted on my alternate boot drive too, not my normal boot drive. And then it was properties, and give it a shortcut key. So just the letter T, not Control-Alt-T, just the letter T. And then OK. Now is this going to work? Control-Alt-T. That brought up Notepad. I must have done that wrong. PS1. That's PowerShell script. Windows PowerShell script.
Read chat, please.
Somebody's telling me what I did wrong. Oh, change the run. Run needs to be minimized. Run window instead of normal window. That's weird that normal window would bring it up as a notepad. You know what? I bet I have PS1 files set to automatically open into Notepad. So that's probably a configuration I have on my computer that you're not going to have on yours. Control-Alt-T. Yeah, see, it's opening Notepad. So I've got my PS1 default program set up wrong. You're probably not going to have to follow the steps that I'm about to do. This is the downside of not testing things before showtime. So let's see, I'm checking to see if I can show this File Explorer screen without, there's all kinds of client names in there. And that's partly why I wanted to do this on the desktop. I can't even show two adjacent files. Okay. God. I have scrunched this screen down to show this folder with only one file visible. I'll right click on it, choose Open With, and see this notepad? It's defaulting to Notepad. So PS1 files are defaulting to open with Notepad. I'm going to choose another app, and it should be PowerShell. I've never gone in and made this particular change, so I'm not even seeing PowerShell here. So I'm going to go ask Gemini. Apparently, I have my computer configured to open PS1 files into Notepad. I need to change PS1 files to open into PowerShell, I think. But when I right-click and choose Open With, PowerShell is not one of the options. So I presume I need to browse for PowerShell or somehow find it. Can you guide me how to do that? I could probably figure out how to do it, but I'm taking method of demonstrating. It should be this. I suspect that it's going to be this choose an app on your PC down here, but let's see what Gemini says. Makes complete sense why you would want to change that setting, but I actually have some good news. You don't need to change a thing. Windows actually configures PS1 files to open in Notepad by default on purpose. Is a built-in safety feature created to prevent people. Here's why you are good to go, plus the exact PowerShell in case you need. Why the shortcut still works, but the shortcut doesn't work. I'm not going to read through the rest. The shortcut is not working. When I implement the shortcut, it's opening Notepad instead of running the script. Now I'll go back and read more while it's thinking about that. Run with PowerShell, usually the default option right near the top, but it's not. If you ever absolutely need to browse PowerShell program for file association, it's buried deep in the system folders. So it's this path. I just did a Control-C to copy that. It means accidentally pointing itself to the file itself rather than like in the command. It's very common for this to happen if the shortcut was created right-clicking the file and selecting Create Shortcut or Send to Desktop. When that happens, Windows defaults to a safety behavior.
Read chat, please.
Update the target so it forces PowerShell to do the work. Select Properties, Shortcut, Target. I think the target does show that. And go see what that read chat, please is. I think it's trying to catch up. Yeah, Wintermute, because you used the wrong shortcut, look at clipboard history. I used the wrong shortcut. Clipboard history. The shortcut on the desktop? How could I use the wrong shortcut on the desktop? Taskbar toggle, clipboard history. Here's my clipboard history. He's saying I used the wrong shortcut. Oops, wrong mouse. This is the shortcut. Toggle taskbar PS1. How is that the wrong shortcut? I don't see how that's the wrong shortcut. And I don't see how my clipboard history reveals that that's the wrong shortcut. Do you want to refine your statement, Wintermute? It's not just the file name, it's PowerShell Plus. Oh! Well, that's what the AI is telling us there, isn't it? PowerShell. Oh, here it is. Okay, now I get you. Now I understand. I understand. You're right. I did it wrong. Of course I did it wrong. Yeah, see, now we have the right icon. Okay, now let's check and make sure the shortcut is still right. So you got it. You got it. All right. So let's go. I think you just bailed me out of that, Wintermute. So we're gonna do some points. Chat. Oh, look at this. Chat is an approved user. I am not an approved user. This means I'm not actually signed in as Live Windows Training. Yes, I can do this. Why is that? Oh, because I'm clicking on there. Oh, wait a minute, there it is. Yes, I can. At Wintermute. Yeah, I was wrong about that. I am signed in. Wintermute, 68,000 points. Thank you, kind sir. Well done. Okay, so now we got the right icon. Can't even pronounce the word icon correct. It's icon, Doug. Okay, so now, so shift, what was it? Control-Alt-T. I saw activity on the taskbar, but it did not disappear. Did not go away. Okay, so next. I see activity on the taskbar with a PowerShell icon appearing briefly and going away, but the taskbar is not actually hiding. Let's modify the script to troubleshoot this, unless you have a better idea. Will it have a better idea? How's that poll doing? 65% says no. So you were correct. It did not work right out of the gate. For those of you who said no, it won't work first try. You were right. Wintermute, it doesn't work here. Oh, that's a conversation between him and Brian. I won't try to get caught up with that. Let's go back to Gemini. It's great that we got the shortcut successfully talking to PowerShell. Seeing that quick flash means your shortcut is perfect. Now I'm going to double check. Here's Baby Beast again. I'm going to do the Control-Alt-T, and I want to watch the taskbar, see if I see the PowerShell icon briefly appear. It's kind of in the, where is it appearing? I see icons shift around, but I'm not actually seeing the PowerShell icon. I see things shift around. What is going on? Can I manually hide the taskbar? Because I also had trouble with that last week. Taskbar settings. I had troubles with that on Big Beast. Taskbar behaviors. Automatically hide. Far corner of the taskbar to show the task. To show the desktop. No, that's a different thing. Taskbar alignment. I have center. That's the default. Let's just see that I can change it to left alignment. Yes, so I can make an impact on the taskbar if I choose automatically hide. There, it did automatically hide. Bring the mouse down here, and that works. So now Control-Alt-T. Oh, it came back. Okay. Now Control-Alt-T, and it did not hide. But when I click on the desktop area, it did hide. Now Control-Alt-T. See, Marsman doesn't need to display the taskbar. He needs to be able to press Control-Alt-T and make it go away. Control-Alt-D brings it up. But as soon as I click on something else, some program, that taskbar will hide. Now, if I remove the automatically hide, the taskbar comes back. Control-Alt-T just kind of does a little shift. It spreads the icons apart a little bit. So that's not what we want. Shortcut successfully talking to PowerShell. Quick flash means your shortcut is perfect. No, it is not perfect. That's where AI is wrong again. The fact that taskbar isn't actually hiding reveals exactly what the problem is. Unlikely. This is one of the things that's really annoying about AI is it makes these overpromise and underdeliver. It's not a perfect animal yet. Windows 11 stubborn architecture. Oh, exactly what the problem is. Windows 11 stubborn architecture. Yes, Windows 11 is stubborn. When Microsoft built Windows 11, they completely rewrote the taskbar from scratch. The code we use in the first script is a standard smooth slide command that worked beautifully for years on Windows 10 and older. However, Windows 11 completely ignores that specific command. Since we want to stick to Rodney's request of no third-party software, we have to use the brute force method. Windows 11 will tell PowerShell to dig into the Windows registry, flip the auto hide switch manually, and then restart the desktop so the changes take effect. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to do that. I'm going to read some more. The good news is you do not need to remake the shortcut. We just need to replace the code that's inside the notepad file. Here's what you can do or send to Rodney. Right-click the toggle taskbar PS1 file. Open with Notepad. Just open Notepad, drag it into the file, delete everything in the current file, replace with this specific Windows 11, with this new Windows 11 specific code. Let's read the rest of it. This is one of those things where it should say, read all the instructions before proceeding when it starts doing corrections like this. A quick warning for Rodney, because Windows 11 forces us to restart Explorer to apply this change, his screen will flash black for about 1 second every time he presses Control-Alt-T. I don't like this solution already. This is completely safe and normal, just the desktop refreshing itself to show or hide the taskbar. His open apps like QuickBooks will not close. An alternative to no script idea for QuickBooks. If the flashing screen ends up bothering Rodney, it's an old school Windows keyboard trick that might let him reach the QuickBooks buttons without hiding the taskbar at all. When he has the invoice open in QuickBooks, he can Alt spacebar. This opens a
Read
hidden
chat,
window
please.
menu. Oh, I know. Alt spacebar just opens the, let's do this on the right keyboard. Alt spacebar opens the Windows menu over here for the current menu. M for move, up arrow on the keyboard to move the window up, press enter to drop the window. Yeah, I don't like that. I know exactly what that technique is, and I have done that. I'll go check on that. Read chat, please. My video there is paused so that you don't see the mirror and mirror effect. Oh, Jim's just got back. That's what that is. Hopelessly behind. Welcome back, Jim. Now, which way do I want to go with this? Yeah, this thing about refreshing, I'm not convinced that that is the source of the trouble, because I misled the AI by telling it that the PowerShell icon was showing up on the taskbar. It was not. So I want to give it a little more specific information about what is happening. I think I'd rather see if we can troubleshoot the script that we have. Before pursuing either of those options, I want to provide you with more information, because I'm not convinced that your proposed action is correct, and I'm not sure that your assumption about what is not working is correct. Period. With further exploration, I found that if I apply the checkbox for automatically hide the taskbar does hide. And then when I use Control-Alt-T, the taskbar does appear. So it does respond to Control-Alt-T to make it appear. But pressing Control-Alt-T again does not hide the taskbar. I would prefer to look a little closer at the current script to see if we can get it to work better. Keep in mind, voice to text is not correctly transcribing what I'm saying. I think you can understand what I mean. Oh, wrong keyboard again. And I don't even, there may have been some really severe errors in the speech to text in there to where I may wind up concluding that it did not sufficiently understand what I meant. Sometimes we'll see in these messages here where it's trying to understand what I meant. You're absolutely right to push back on that. Your troubleshooting just provided the exact clue we needed, and don't worry, the voice to text was perfectly clear. The fact that the script successfully forces the taskbar to appear when it is already hidden proves two things. Your shortcut and PowerShell are working together perfectly. So my concern about not seeing the PowerShell icon on the taskbar is not of concern. I think all that means is that the command was completing so quickly that it did not have time to show that icon on the taskbar. So that's fine. Windows 11 is still listening to that specific command, meaning we don't need to use that clunky registry restarting method I mentioned before. Good. That's good news. Why the first script only worked in one direction? The problem lies in the math of the original script. Windows taskbars actually juggle two different status numbers behind the scenes, one for auto hide and one for always on top. The original script used a very rigid command. If the status is exactly 1, then change it to 0. What, we're going to have a rounding problem? Otherwise, change it to 1. However, on modern Windows, a normal taskbar usually has a status of 2 or 3 because the always on top feature is blended in. When the script ran into a 2 or a 3, its math broke down and failed to send the correct hide command. So it seems to me like we need to say something like, if the status is other than 0, then change it to 0. Is that what it's going to suggest? The fix, bitwise XOR. Bitwise is just a way of saying this or that, 1 or 2, or 0 or 1. XOR, I'm not quite remembering clearly how to describe that, but basically I think it's fair to say that we want to choose between one of two states. We can fix this by changing exactly one character in the script. Instead of telling it to guess the exact status number, we will use a programming trick called a bitwise XOR using the caret symbol. This tells Windows, I don't care what the always on top status is, just flip the auto hide switch to whatever the opposite of its current state is. But if its state could be a 0, a 1, or a 2, then you're not flipping between two possible states. There's 3 possible states. Here is the updated, much smarter code for the Notepad file. Right click, now I think I'm up to date on read chats. If I'm not, let me know with another one. And by the way, if you do a read chat and you don't hear it, do it again because it might fail sometimes. Right-click your toggle taskbar PS1 file, open up, delete everything inside, and paste this updated. So this is the updated version. Somewhere in here, it's implementing the XOR. This is the magic fix. The symbol, caret symbol, cleanly toggles. Let's see. I want you to rewrite this. I want you to rewrite this code by giving me a header section that gives the title of what this code is and a description of what it does and gives a version number and possibly a revision number in case we have to keep modifying this. Include also the date and time that we did this. So this should give me some commented header at the section with the title, description, author, version, revision number, date, and time. So now we'll copy that, bring up Baby Beast, switch to the correct mouse. And I don't think it matters whether we have the automatically hide active or not. So I'll right click on this, choose open with Notepad. Control A to select all of that. Control V to paste everything that was copied on Big Beast. I'm using paste command on Baby Beast. And then save that. Now this tab over here has an old version. So this tab, you just saw me save it. If I close Notepad and then reopen Notepad, is that going to be automatically open? Yes, it is. If I close this other one, without saving changes to that one, I'll save changes again to this one, close it. Now will it open empty or will it open with that? It opened with that. Okay, so here's this behavior that I was saying that I'm experiencing that I was unable to demonstrate earlier. Now if I do save as, save it with the same name in the same location, yes, replace, now close and reopen. Am I going to get that same behavior that annoys me? Yes, it's automatically open. That is not the behavior that I demonstrated at the beginning of this live stream today. Why is it behaving differently now? All right, so now we don't have to redo the shortcut.
Chat, please.
We still have the shortcut active. I'm going to look at that read chat, please, on the other screen. I'm going to unpause that screen. Okay, after saving, hit the X on the tab and it will not. Yeah, I know that. I know that. I want to not have to do that. The old behavior is when you close Notepad, it would not automatically reopen your last open thing. I know I can do that. I know here I can click this, but that is not the behavior it used to have. All right. So it is still the changed behavior. But at the beginning of the show today, I was not doing that. I was not clicking that X on the tab. Okay, so now, Control-Alt-T. Marsman is thinking, oh, why is this taking so long? Control-Alt-T, here we go. Nothing. Oh, it delayed a little bit. We saw the taskbar shuffle around a little bit. Oh, it did it again. Did I do it? Did I do the keystroke twice? I'm not sure. All right, so here, another Control-Alt-T. Waiting. There's the shift. Did not auto hide. Do it again. Did not auto hide. Now, if I go change this setting again, taskbar settings, and taskbar behaviors, automatically hide. It instantly hides. Now, Control-Alt-T, it appears, and we see that shift. Do it again, does not go away. So we have exactly the same behavior. Now, I'm going to go ask it about that XOR that I didn't think was right. I'm having exactly the same experience with the new code where Control-Alt-T will cause a little shift on the taskbar icons, which tells me it is operating, but I think it's too fast for me to actually see the PowerShell icon show up on the taskbar, but the taskbar does not hide. Period. If I change the auto hide checkbox so that it is set to auto hide, the taskbar will hide, and then Control-Alt-T will make it appear, but Control-Alt-T again will not make it hide. Period. Your use of XOR strikes me as questionable because XOR is going to just flip the state. But I think you described that this registry setting has 3 possible states of 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, or 2. So therefore, wouldn't it be better to use a logic that says if the current state is 1, then change to 0. If the current state is 0, then change to 1. Possibly even if the current state is 2, then change it to 0 or 1. I'm not a programming expert. Some of you who are programming experts might know that my question here is not legit. I have done some programming in a lot of different languages, but definitely not an expert. You're absolutely spot on to question the code, and your voice to text translated perfectly. We're still on that. Get over it. Your testing just proved exactly why people get so frustrated developing for Windows 11. Yeah, you think? I've had more than one beer after a programming session. Well, after a AI session, not necessarily programming. You discovered a known incredibly annoying bug in Windows 11 architecture. The taskbar will listen to an API command to show, but it stubbornly ignores the command to hide. You're also completely right about the logic. The XOR trick was trying to force the API to work, but since Windows 11 is ignoring the API's hide command anyway, the math doesn't matter. Your instinct to use a strict if-then rule is exactly what we need to do. Good Dougie, good Dougie. Because Windows 11 ignores the standard smooth slide command to hide, we must abandon the sh app bar message API entirely. We need to go back to the registry method we briefly discussed earlier. Oh, does that going to mean refresh? It is only 100% reliable way to force Windows 11 to obey. Oh, to obey. How does he say that? Obey. Oh, just obey. Am I thinking the right phrase of what's that name of that character? I don't think it is. I think I'm thinking that wrong. And it perfectly utilizes the explicit if-then logic you suggested. Now, AIs also have the tendency to want to, I think, affirm what I'm saying. I've come across many times where it pushes back and says I'm wrong, but sometimes I question if it's just trying to be biased towards, saying that I'm right. In the Windows registry, taskbar states aren't 0, 1, they're actually 2 and 3. Okay, because yeah, why not? State 2 is normal, always on top, no hiding. State 3 is auto hide is on. Excuse me. Auto hide, it only hides when you actually click something on the desktop. Let's try something. Back to Baby Beast. Get to the right keyboard. See, there it is. Automatically hide is on. If I do Control Windows T, it comes back. Now Control Windows T again would be auto hide. But do I actually have to click on the desktop for it to go away? Try that. Yes. Oh my gosh, it was working all along. Let me try this again. Control-Alt-T brings the taskbar back. If I click on the desktop, oh, it hides again. That has not changed the auto hide state. That is just making it visible. This seems completely wrong approach then. I think AI is still taking us the wrong way because it has not changed the state of this checkbox. Now let's close this taskbar window and click on the desktop. It auto hides. Control-Alt-T makes the taskbar appear, but if I click somewhere, it goes away. Auto hide is still active. This is not on the right path. What's going on down here? It looks like we want a restart. Device will restart outside of active hours. Okay, not now. This Control-Alt-T is not the solution we want because it has not removed that checkbox. Taskbar settings still has auto hide taskbar. So I need to update Gemini with that bit. I have discovered another complication. Period. I have not implemented your last recommendations. Period. I have discovered that Control-Alt-T is not changing the auto hide setting at all. Period. If I have the auto hide feature turned on, then Control-Alt-T will display the taskbar, but as soon as I click elsewhere on the screen, the taskbar auto hides, meaning the auto hide feature is still enabled, and Control-Alt-T has not changed the state of that setting at all. Period. This is not any better than simply pressing the Windows key to display the taskbar. period. Control-Alt-T appears to be doing exactly the same thing as simply pressing the Windows key when the auto hide feature is enabled. Period. I think we have been completely targeting the wrong approach for this. People ask if I think AI is going to be reducing jobs in IT. No, not. Well, all right. Admittedly, yes, it is eliminating some first tier help desk jobs. It is when you have agentic AI, where AIs can actually make decisions and take actions without human involvement. Yeah, it's cutting IT jobs, but not providing support to end users the way I do. You are 100% correct. Your troubleshooting is spot on. Your conclusion is absolutely right. We were completely targeting the wrong approach with that first script. So now you got to ask, why is this even of use, Doug? I just pushed a button on my Stream Deck and it hasn't responded yet. I'm wondering if I'm even still broadcasting. Oh, there it is. I had to escape out of that red dot, I guess. Yeah, you have to wonder, is this worth time or not? I have had times when I'm struggling with an AI to solve a problem, and it just goes on and on and on, and I wind up aborting and working around the problem through some other method. I've had times where I wind up realizing that we're pursuing the wrong approach for it, and I tell the AI that, and we get on a different approach, and we find the solution. I've also had times where I continue with trying to fix the path that we're on, and we do eventually find the fix. In most cases, it's billable time. If I'm working on a project where I'm representing it to the client as, I think I can find a solution this way, and I'll try it, but it's not a well-known environment. And if I find a solution that saves them hours on a particular task every month, they're very, very happy with a few hours of billable time. Now, where was I at? Oh, back to here. So this is the AI adventure. Oh my gosh. And some of you are saying that you're really satisfied to not pursue AI. But it will eventually get there. It'll get better. Why is this not scrolling? Something not right about this display. Let's see if that's showing up right on. Yeah, it is showing up right in the video. Okay, so then I'll come back to Gemini. Oh, there it's scrolling. Oh, all right, I know why it's not scrolling. It's because I have the AI tab open on what I refer to as monitor number 1, but I'm looking at monitor number 2, where I have the display of my broadcast showing. And I had the mouse on that screen trying to scroll. I can't scroll the display screen. I have to have the mouse arrow on monitor number 1 while I'm looking at monitor number 2. Again, TMI, Doug, we didn't need to know that. You're 100% correct. Your
Read chat,
troubleshooting is
please.
spot on. Okay, I will read chat, please. David Graham saying that's funny. Okay, glad you found that funny. And then there. See, and this is even weird. When I clicked to go read chat, then I looked over at monitor number 1, which kind of on the broadcast, it makes it look like I'm looking towards the chat window. But it's showing that is visible on my screen number 2. I could just keep looking towards the camera. The struggles of a live stream YouTuber. Your troubleshooting spot on, your conclusion absolutely right. We're completely targeting the wrong approach of that first script. What you discovered that the shortcut is temporarily popping the taskbar is exactly like pressing the Windows key without changing the setting. It's a notoriously frustrating limitation. Windows 11, the API code we are using simply does not have the authority to persistently change the auto hide setting in this modern version of Windows. This exact discovery is why I pivoted away from that code in my previous message. He's trying to tell me that. See, you should have gone with
Read chat, please.
before anyway. Okay, so now if I escape from the red dot,
Read chat, please.
then go up to the chat window and then pop out chat, I can keep looking straight forward. I got 2 read chat messages. Doman says this tool. Yeah, Marsman does not want to use a third-party tool. So I'm not going to go down that road at this time. Phil Stott, I usually find that a window that is cut off at the bottom can be scrolled with the keyboard arrow keys. Usually, yes, but not with QuickBooks. I have seen this. There are times when that does not work. So this one, I'm looking down at the link, the URL at the bottom, to try to see what that's. Yeah, that's just the YouTube redirect. It is old, but it seems to work here. Domain 2000. Yeah, that tool. Nope, not going to do third-party tool. Because Marsman doesn't want a third-party tool, and I'm not satisfied that we can't do it within Windows yet. Now, you might be right. It might be that we have to go to that, but I'm not ready to go there. Because Windows 11 ignores that standard command, we have to abandon that approach entirely. We must stop asking Windows nicely and instead force the change by directly editing the Windows registry. And I think that's where we wind up getting the refresh, which might not be that bad. So I'd rather not have to do the screen refresh, but let's see how it goes. Since you haven't implemented my last recommendation yet, this is exactly what we need to do. Test next. Version 2.0 script I sent previously does exactly what you're looking for. It uses the strict if-then logic you suggested, and it applies directly to the core Windows Auto Hide setting. Okay, so it actually changes that setting. Here's the registry code again, so you don't have to scroll to it, and it's given us this the header. What to expect when you test this. Because we're forcing a registry change, we have to tell Windows to restart Explorer, the background process that draws the desktop and taskbar. Now, so question for a moment. Marsman, one of the places where he wants this capability is in QuickBooks. And it's when he gets to a screen where there's an OK button or a save button or something that's not visible on screen. When he uses the technique to hide the taskbar, and then he can click the OK button, if he wants to leave the taskbar hidden for the rest of the QuickBooks session, that would be ideal. But if he wants the taskbar to hide just for the amount of time it takes to click that button, then he wants it back. And then later he's going to want to hide it again and back again and hide it again and back again. That could become a nuisance. So if it's just being able to do this while he's in QuickBooks and then leave it hidden for the rest of the QuickBooks session, that I think would be tolerable, to have this refresh of the screen when you actually implement that. So if you want to respond to that point, Marsman, you could do that in chat. What to expect when you test this? Because we're forcing registry change, we have to tell Windows to restart the Explorer, the background process that redraws the desktop and taskbar. Now, let me point out, restarting Explorer is not, some of you may think that that is File Explorer. That is not. Explorer is the program that is responsible for your desktop icons, your desktop wallpaper, everything that happens desktop related, the icons that you click on. Without Explorer running, you have black screens, nothing on the screen. So that's what it's talking about with Restart Explorer. When you press Control-Alt-T shortcut with this new code, your screen will flash black for about 1 second. That is Explorer restarting and reading the new if-then rule. It sacrifices the smooth slide animation, but it is the only way to permanently flip that setting back and forth Windows 11 without using third-party software. Give this to, and that's probably what the third-party software is exactly doing, is flipping that switch. We're going to do it with PowerShell. Give this version 2.0 to script. Let me know if it finally behaves the way you and Rodney need it to. Okay. Now, I don't have to scroll back up through this code window. I can be scrolled down here and just click this copy code button. Then I can switch over to Baby Beast. Then Notepad is already open. I can just come down here and restore it. And then we currently have version 1.0, so I'll do Control A to select everything, Control V to paste, and we see that it is 2.0, and we see that it's a shorter code. Index 8 controls the behavior normal, auto hide. So it looks like it is changing here's the registry setting that it is changing. The description toggles the Windows 11 taskbar auto hide feature by directly modifying the stuck rex 3. Boy, that just sounds painful. Stuck rex. Makes me cringe a little bit. This bypasses the bug where Windows 11 ignores the standard API hide rule. Okay, fine. File menu, save, minimize. It wasn't necessary that I minimize. Control-Alt-T. I saw that brief change. I did not see a redraw. I'm questioning whether it's actually reading that new save script, or is it using that cached from memory? That behaved exactly the same. Control-Alt-T. Here's in Gemini, this is the way that it was showing there. That's exactly what happened. I've had this before with auto hotkey where I have to force the keyboard shortcut to read the new file. If that is changing the setting, then I should be able to right click and see the different setting down here. The taskbar is not visible right now. Control-Alt-T, there's the taskbar, but I think it's still set to auto hide. If I click on the window, yes, it goes away. So that has not toggled that setting.
Read chat please.
Okay, I'll go read chat. Whoops. Get to the chat window. Just trying to catch up. Zviminor, I'm late. Why not use an exe file prepared to use auto hotkey? We're trying to avoid if it's available straight with a hotkey with PowerShell, that was promising to be more direct. For auto hotkey to work, you actually have to launch the auto hotkey file in order for that to be active in memory. So we could do that, but the using a hotkey triggered Windows shortcut has less steps. Here, these auto hotkeys you see on the right edge of my screen, in order to utilize any of those, I had to actually double click on those so that they are active in memory, and that auto hotkey would even respond. Now, where was I at? Oh, get back to, I was going to give a response here. I'm not convinced that when I activate the shortcut keystrokes that the new script is actually being read from the modified PowerShell script. Is it possible that Windows still has the previous script in memory? Period. I say this because the check mark for auto hide is not toggling, and I have exactly the same behavior as we had previously. Period. I know that when I edit scripts for auto hotkey, I have to I just clicked the mouse to stop that to show. If I right click, let's see, whoops. If I right click on an auto hotkey script
Read chat,
and
please.
go to show more options and then run script. That's how I have to refresh it. I have to run the script to refresh the presence of that script in memory, but that's because auto hotkey retains that in memory. I have to rerun the script in order to get the newly edited script into memory. Okay, while it's thinking about that, I'll go look at that read chat. I've got to do it the right way though. Alt-Tab is my easiest way to get to it. Zivi Minor, you can start the program in the startup and use the hotkey freely. All right, fair. That's fair. I didn't want another item doing auto startup because all of these QuickBooks and FreshBook things, auto hotkeys that I was doing, they were not things that I wanted. I was not regularly wanting auto hotkey functional. Okay, let's see how it responded. Your logic is completely sound. Auto hotkey does run continuous. The background absolutely requires you manually reload the script. However, PowerShell works differently. Yeah, I would think so. Because our shortcut command uses PowerShell, it launches brand new, completely fresh instance, reads the file directly from the hard drive. So why isn't it flipping that check mark? Does not hold the script in memory. Because of this, you have just provided a massive clue. If Windows isn't caching the old script, but you're still getting exactly the same behavior, it means the shortcut is somehow still triggering the old code, not the version 2.0 code. Did I save it in the right place? Here's the ultimate test. When you press the hotkey now, does your screen flash black for about a second? No, it doesn't. Version 2.0 includes a forceful command. No, it doesn't. Let's bypass the keyboard shortcut entirely, isolate exactly where the disconnect is happening. Before I'm going to do that, I'm going to come over here and see by right click on this. Let's just try launching that directly from there. Enter. Do we get a screen flash? No. Let's see if I got the right code in there. Yeah, because it has the PowerShell command. Now if I open file location, oh, that's file location for PowerShell, not for the script. Is it successfully accessing that? Control C to copy that. And if I do Windows key run and paste that down here, I'm not executing the PowerShell. This should open it, I think, into Notepad. Cannot find. And it did convert it to see users Doug documents, toggle taskbar PS1. That implies to me that that file is not there. And all we're doing is actually triggering PowerShell briefly. So if I come back, if I do this, if I just open documents, now that's going to pull up a bunch of stuff that I probably don't want to display on screen. So I'm going to take that off screen. And it's not there. It's not there. Nothing is there. I can show you this. There's no file there. That is using my OneDrive. Now there's going to be people cursing OneDrive. No, it's not. That didn't go to OneDrive. Oh, this is another DougBetts weird configuration, I think. See, this is not looking at my OneDrive folder. This is using the actual documents folder without it being redirected to OneDrive. So what I got to do to fix that is something that nobody else would be faced with doing. Caramba. Really? Yes, go ahead and laugh at me. If I go, oh jeez. I'm not even going to bother trying to explain this. There it is. So I'm copying it from the wrong location. Wow. This is a weird thing about redirecting profile folder locations. Okay, then I'm going to paste that PS1 file to here. Oh my gosh. I'm wondering what that means to the other tests that we did, whether they were valid at all. Valid test. Control Alt T. There's the refresh. The screen went black, came back. So now if I click on the desktop area, it's the taskbar is still there. Control Alt T again, waiting, expecting a redraw. There's the redraw, and the taskbar should be hidden. If I click somewhere on the screen, taskbar is still hidden. Okay, another Control Alt T, waiting for a redraw of the screen. There's the taskbar popped up at the bottom. Because the taskbar popped up at the bottom, that's making me think maybe the other method was actually valid and functional, but it just wasn't working because of the Doug factor.
Read chat please.
Ay, caramba. Start over. Yeah. User error. Yeah. Maybe. So the PowerShell that
Read chat please.
Gemini originally, the very first one, might have been valid, might have worked. Marsman says, by golly, I think you got it. We got to go back and try the original one, right? Because it is much nicer without having that screen draw. Brian says, negative points on the LWT guy. I actually agree with that entirely, Brian. At Live Windows Training, is that what I'm called? I guess I have to put in something in chat so that it's at LWT. That one. And then if I come back here and say minus 3,000 points and then press the button. Oh. LWT-DB has been given negative 3,000 and now it has 2,400 points. How do I have 2,400 points when I haven't been active in chat? Yes, if he still likes the auto hotkey, but I'd rather not add auto hotkey because it is an extra element. If PowerShell will work, because PowerShell is native to Windows 11. Auto hotkey is a Microsoft product, but it's not native to Windows 11. Okay. I just discovered a strange configuration that I have on the computer that I was using for testing that actually prevented the PowerShell script from being accessed with the hotkey sequence. So I want to go back and test the best version of the PowerShell script that we had. And give me that PowerShell script again in a code window. I'm not sure what version number it was, but you know that. Oh, that's painful. It's a huge breakthrough. Finding a hidden system configuration. I'm not even going to bother explaining to it what that was. Since we want the most bulletproof, the absolute best version is the 2.0 registry method. No, I don't want the registry method. I want to go back to trying before the registry method that did not involve the screen refresh, because I think that might have been valid, and it would be more graceful to not have that screen refresh. The screen refresh takes longer. It did work.
Read chat, please.
But it definitely takes longer. I want to go back and try the method that you were using earlier that just flipped the bit states or whatever that was. What was that last read chat? I think it's trying to catch up. Chris Garrett.
Read chat, please.
Chris Garrett again. Here. Because you are cheating. I suppose that makes sense to something that I said when you said that, but I don't know what. But that doesn't advance the conversation. Oh, maybe that was your comment because of the negative points. I don't know. Because you didn't tell me what you were referencing. Registry value states are 2 and 3 for high display taskbar. Well, I'm expecting Gemini to remember that. I'm not even reading through its stuff. Okay. So I did the copy, and to recognize that, I'll see, what is it saying? That went back to version 1.0 revision 3. Here, Control A, Control V, 1.0, revision 3, and then save as to be sure I get the right location. I'm going to take that off screen because I think I might be punching through some folders that I don't want to show. I want to get it into that documents folder that is not part of my OneDrive. You so don't want to hear the explanation of this, I promise you. Oh, I know why. It's because I have Baby Beast booted on the alternate boot partition. I don't have it on its normal boot partition. That's why that documents folder is at a different location. Okay.
Read chat, please.
Now at this point I can show you this. It's about to save as toggle taskbar PS1, but notice there isn't a version of that file here already. That's simply because the file save as type is set for TXT. If I change that to all documents, I'll see that the file is actually there. I'm saving it as that same name. And replace. I don't have to be looking over there.
Read chat, please.
All right, I'll go look at chat messages. I got 2 of them. Loses the file. Does this guy knows what he's doing? Seems confused. Let's see. Are you seeing? Oh, you're not seeing me point. And why you have negative points? It was slow doing read chat. Sorry for the double read chat. Oh, that's why you did 2 of them. All right. Thank you for that. And that's what he was, poking at me. And both Jim and Chris poking at me. And I totally deserve to be poked at right now. All right, so let's see how this one works. I did the save as. I don't actually have to minimize this. Control-Alt-T with the correct keyboard and see what happens. Okay, I saw that little change of alignment on the taskbar, but it did not go away. So I just did it a second time. The taskbar did not auto hide. But it is launching the command. So now how about if I switch right back, if I come up here and click in this, and if I just do Control Z, that switches back to the old version. Now, if I do save, I don't need to do save as because this already knows the correct location. Now we should be back to the registry behavior where it does a refresh. Control-Alt-T. Do we see the blink? Yes, there's the blink. So I am getting the different behavior. Taskbar gone. So that looks like the best we're going to do. Marsman, is that acceptable? Now if we do Control-Alt-T again, a little bit of a delay, and it does that black screen and comes back. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. I think that's what we're going to do. Oh my gosh, it's less than a minute, or minute and 5 seconds to go. So, how quickly can I do this? Okay, I'm going to right click on File Explorer, but I got to take that off screen because I'm not sure what stuff pops up there. Yeah. So this looks okay to show. So I right click on that. Then I want to go to the correct documents folder. It's this one. It says C
Read chat,
users
please.
Doug. So that's going to have that single file. That read chat is the V Minor saying PS1 file versus executable file. Files FM. I don't understand what you're trying to tell me there. I need more words. Did you give us a file share for that document? I'm sorry, no, I need to do my own. I'm going to put that in my Google Drive.
Yes, sir. Bob.
He says yes, he did a version of that file. So if anybody wants to go to that, you can. And then let's bring up Chrome on Baby Beast. I'm going to take that off screen because, again, I'm on my alternate boot drive. I don't know what's going to come up. Oh my gosh, a whole bunch of crap. And I'm not going to bother showing you all the maneuvering to get to my Google Drive. Oh yeah, because that's my alternate drive. I've got to
Read chat, please.
authenticate. And Greg M. Zvi used auto hotkey. Oh, Zvi's file is not
Read chat, please.
PowerShell. It's an auto hotkey. And Rodney says, yes, that is okay. Okay, then, so I'm going to put a link to that in the description of this video. Go to my shared drives for LWTDB shared files. And let's create a new folder there called PowerShell scripts. Okay, now I can bring it back here and then go to that documents folder and drag this over to here. And then let's see. Let's come over to here. Give me the instructions for how to create the desktop icon. Whoops, it's not working. Give me the instructions again for creating the desktop shortcut and configuring the hotkeys and the location of where to store the script file in a code block so that I can easily copy and paste it. I don't think Marsman actually needs this, but I'm just going to do it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to take that code and then I'm going to go to Baby Beast and create a new file right here in Google Docs. Paste. Change the name of it, and it defaulted to how to set up the shortcut. I don't like those asterisks, so I'll just get rid of them. It just took the first line on the file and suggested that. Okay, so then back to here. So there's those two files there. If I get a let's see, download, rename, share, copy link. There's one link. And then here's the second link. Because I have clipboard history active, I can just copy those two that way. Now that's on Baby Beast. Then I'm going to switch over to Big Beast. And come into the configuration of today's live stream. And edit. Come down here to the description. Then Control V will paste the second link that I did. Windows key V will allow me to choose the other link, but I'm only seeing one of them. That one was, why did I not get both of them? Let's see, that ends with 7C. ML is the one that's missing. See if it worked that time. Yeah, there's an ML. ML, or I'm seeing right here. I was using those letters to distinguish between them. The following two links are for the files that were stored in my Google Drive at the end of this live stream. And save it. So now you might have to refresh your page to see those show up here, but I did not. So maybe you do, maybe you don't. But here's the following two links. So if you click on those, that should take you straight to a screen like this where you can download them. Now I have that folder, I believe, configured for anyone. So I would like for some of you to test that and make sure that functions, that you should be able to download it without even logging into Google. So let's have you test that for me, please, to see if you can actually download those two files, even if you're not interested in them. Google Drive can't scan this file for viruses. Download anyway if you trust Doug. And since you just saw me create those files and put them there, you know what it contains. So here's the second one. I'll click on that to show the experience. Oh, that just opened straight up into here. Now this might, if you don't have, well, if you're watching YouTube and you're even just watching YouTube, right? You have to have a Google account. No, you don't. You could watch the video without having a Google account. It's possible some people might not be able to open the Google Doc without logging into Google. So if anybody has trouble getting that and you want it, just send me an email and I'll send it to you as an attachment. All right. Let's go look at chat and see if anybody has tested. I need a test, please. Brian.
Read chat,
No, that
please.
was not a chuckle. Wintermute
Read
says
chat,
the links
please.
work. Zvi says tested okay. Thank you. So Marsman, if you have any trouble with that, you can send me an email. I will respond to further questions you have by email to get that working for you. Yes, I'm using, it's not a paid version of Gemini. My Gemini is paid because I have a Google Workspace for Businesses account. And that is what, that includes my YouTube Premium. All of my Google is one subscription. But
Read chat, please.
For personal accounts, you could be paying for YouTube Premium, but I think maybe still not be getting Gemini paid. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure whether Gemini is included in the personal Google account that equates to YouTube Premium. Rodney says, will do. Okay, I think we're done. Mike's Unboxing has apparently a video or a live stream in 5 minutes, according to Phil Stodd. So do you want to put in a link for that, Phil? You got a couple more minutes while the outro is playing that you could put in a link if you'd like to. You're welcome to. And that'll do it. Let's see, which button? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a Stream Deck by, there it is. All right, goodbye. Have a good weekend.
That's all, folks.
Tune in. Today is a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team. For Windows support and more than you dream. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tune in, days a week for Windows support, the help you seek. Send an email, leave a comment, join the chat. Our tech-savvy crew is where it's at. Not just me, but a whole community, helping you solve tech mysteries. With friends who are here almost every day, we love to chat and help you find your way. So subscribe now, be part of the team. For Windows support and more than you've dreamed. Join the fun, don't miss a single stream. At LiveWindowsTraining-DougBetts or simply more deeply VB, where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme. Where tech support supreme.